Thank you all for joining us today. What is the biggest mistake NetSuite customers make when building a business case for a budgetary control solution? So, Brian, first, let's get this out of the way. Are you seeing more organizations recognizing the problem and prioritizing the deployment of a budgetary control solution that integrates with NetSuite?
Yeah, I think a lot of organizations are kind of looking at it and saying, oh man, we have a big gap here. We have a gap in the fact that we don't have any controls ensuring that people spend based on their budgets that have been approved by, maybe even the board of directors, for heaven's sakes. So what we're seeing is a lot of organizations are now taking a step back. Now that we know what COVID is and we kind of understand that the market's going to be a little rough for the next maybe couple months, maybe year. We're not 100% sure, but we've dealt with this. So now we're looking at organizations and companies saying, okay, hey, I got to have tighter controls around what my spend is. And I'm almost having to now reforecast my budgets as well. But adding that tighter controls around the budget spending, I think that's what organizations are really looking at right now.
Brian, this seems like a slam dunk of a business case to me. I'm curious, where do things go wrong?
Things go wrong in the fact people are busy. I think everybody has Zoom meeting fatigue at this point. I think a lack of, hey, we're spending all this money on a budgeting planning software. We're spending money on this ERP system, but really the benefit outweighs the cost. If you put a little bit of effort in to implement a budgetary control system, then you're able to reap the benefit from a tighter control environment.
Mike, what's the biggest mistake organizations make when building a business case for a solution like yours?
I think the biggest mistake that I've seen is during the ERP implementation, where budgeting or budget control tends to get moved into a future phase of implementation. So you go live with your core financials, and maybe you might have budget planning in that, but usually that gets postponed as well. And so then you're basically, flying without a net. Then they get around to doing budget planning, and then maybe after that, budget control. So it's that phased in process that allows for exposure for the first 1 to 2 years of an ERP implementation.
Is it fair to say, Mike, that a solution, budgetary control solution, can extend the value of the ERP then?
Yes, because it looks more on the cost saving side, right? So if I can save thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars on my budget, that's going to be a huge cost savings to the overall cost of implementing new ERP.
Is an ERP not enough anymore in your mind, Mike, for the budgetary control and spend management that organizations need in this economy?
It really needs to be included in that big picture. And of course, Piango does provide that so we can get companies up and running quickly with a budget control solution.
That will be our final word. Brian, Mike, thank you so much for an excellent presentation and for sharing your insights with us today. And thank you all for joining us and taking time out of your busy days to spend time with us. If you would like to contact Brian or Mike, their information is on your screen. With that, on behalf of Piango, this is Mark Brousseau, thanking you all. Stay well, stay safe.